Hi, Keegan. Welcome to this beautiful interview for the Seven Sisters. I'm so excited that we're here today in this sacred container to, learn a little bit more about you. Could you just begin to share a little bit about yourself with the viewers, please?
Yes, thank you, Jody. I'm so happy to be here. Excited to chat with you today and a little bit about me.
Mhm.
I live right now in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but I consider myself just someone like a world traveler, someone who's lived in so many different places, and it's really shaped who I am and what I'm here to do, which to me is to awaken our worthiness, our power, our presence on this planet, and how we can cultivate our own sense of intuitive agency, listening to our intuition, listening to our call deep within, and moving from that place in our life.
That's beautiful and so exciting that we're very similar in that sense. I love to share similar things. So, can you tell me about your journey and what inspired you to become a healer? Just a
Mm.
little bit about.
Yeah, well, I think it feels like a lifelong journey.
Hmm.
Sure. Um, I think, it really starts with growing up in a family of domestic violence and abuse and addiction.
Hmm.
And I saw so many of my family members choose unhealthy ways of coping with the woundedness that they had within them.
Yeah.
And I remember just witnessing this. And it was a very dark upbringing. And I think that darkness really got to me. And I got woken up. My
Yeah.
consciousness woke up to choose a different path. And I consciously chose a different path to be in this healing arts and to heal the wounds that I felt were passed down from generation to generation to generation. And so it was like these little breadcrumbs throughout my life.
Hmm.
And the easiest way that I guess you could say escaped it was I moved as far away as possible. So that was my healing journey. Was,
Yeah.
okay,
So it's taking you all around the
let
world.
me yeah, let me
Yeah.
just get out of here. And I grew up in Florida, so I moved up to the Northeast. So I lived in Washington, D.C. and New York and California. And all of those places just exposed me to different people and experiences. And
Mhm.
I'd say probably that was like my foundation. And
Yep.
then in 2014, I had probably one of the most life-changing experiences happen. I was riding a bicycle and was hit by a car, and it was very tragic. I had just come off of finishing my yoga teacher training. The less than a year before that, I had a relationship end that was very abrupt, and so my heart was just broken open.
Yeah.
It was broken, but broken open,
Mm.
and so this accident was so life altering in that way. And from this experience, I really sought out other healing modalities outside of Western medicine. I was
Mhm.
determined to get better. I had a brain injury, really bad concussion with vertigo. I lost part of my hearing and I had a shoulder injury. And so I had a lot of physical ailments that prevented me from living my life and being the person who I was. I was very active. And so someone from my yoga teacher training, he is a Reiki practitioner. And
Mhm.
so when I put the call out to ask for support, he came over and offered a Reiki energy healing session. And it was very powerful and it was transformative in my healing journey. And that was a moment that I started to really look at other healing modalities, holistic healing modalities that could support my journey.
Yeah.
And from there, when I got better and I could be around more people, I got into sound healing. I was deep into meditation because it was the only thing that I could do.
Yeah.
So I would meditate starting with like 5 or 10 minutes. And then I would get up to almost an hour every single day through this 6-month journey of healing. And from that experience, I started to recognize how I wanted to share this with others. And I think of myself as a teacher, and I've been a teacher my whole life. That's been my professional life, as in education. And I think as teachers, I go through experiences. We go through these experiences and we transmute, alchemize whatever we're experiencing, and then we share those lessons. So that I believe is really been my healing journey. And now that's what I've gotten to blend all of those and share those with others.
Oh, that sounds incredible. And I feel as well, our journeys when we have experienced such hardship in whatever way, and then to be able to then, to share it with so much compassion, because we really understand deeply how it feels, so we embody that first, and then, we're here to share it. So that's incredible. Okay, next question. What different healing modalities or techniques do you practice, and how do they work?
So a lot of things.
Yeah.
Definitely, my energy healing practice. It started out with Reiki. So I became a Reiki practitioner, and I expanded that to work with quantum energy. So that's working with releasing trapped emotions, working with ancestral, whatever emotions you've inherited. Also thought field therapy, which is a tapping technique for releasing negative thought patterns and negative thought loops, chakra balancing and clearing and rebalancing, and working with your auric field. So those are the energy practices that I use, those healing modalities. Also, as a yoga teacher, I incorporate embodiment. For me, embodiment is important. It's about how we can have a stronger connection to our body and working with our nervous system. So one of the things that I have really started to focus on is I've been in the work of manifestation, and it really came to me that when our bodies feel safe, that is when we can manifest. That's when we can really start to imagine and dream and start to call in what we want to see in our life and want to experience in our life. So for me, that's the work that I'm really focused in right now, is how we can tune into our body, listen to what we need, rebalance, regulate our nervous system, so that we can be that clear channel for what we are divinely meant to receive in this life. And we're all meant to receive in this life. So how can we prepare ourselves?
That's profound, because I know that that's what I'm starting to come into, that space again. I feel where I'm feeling safe, because I've been in fight or flight mode for, a few years, and I've had to move through some big stuff as well. And I'm just starting to feel safe again. And with that, I'm starting to, it feels like, and all of these beautiful opportunities are starting to show up. And, this is one of them, being here in this absolutely incredible space with such empowering and inspiring women. So could you tell us, from all of those modalities and your experiences, maybe about an experience you've had with a client that's been really profound and memorable for you?
Yeah, there's one in particular that stands out. I feel like each client is, each person I've worked with or groups that I've worked with, there's always magic that happens. And I think it was about last year, I had someone come to a group sound healing. So one of the other modalities I work with is sound healing. And I was hosting a community sound healing session, and I received an email from one of the people who had come, and she asked about me doing a private ceremony with her and her dog. And her dog was very elderly, and he was sick and was dying. And said, I don't know if you'd be interested in doing this, but I really just want to have like this moment with him before he passes and before I need to put him down. And she was in a lot of resistance. She didn't want to let go of him. And I just felt so much compassion because I have a dog. He's the love of my life. And there was just something telling me like, yes, I want to do this. I'd never done an experience like this before, but I felt the calling like, okay, yeah, this is something I feel I can do and I want to do.
Yeah.
So I did this private sound healing session and also really a connection with her two souls to connect her with her dog and to be able to have this heart connection with each other and a little bit of a grief process and grief ceremony. And
beautiful.
Yeah, at the end of that session, it was so beautiful just to hold that space. And then at the end, she said, I felt him and I heard him say, everything's going to be okay.
Oh.
Everything's going to be okay. And I just got chills sharing the story again. And and then, about a week later, she emailed me and said that session really supported me in my letting go process. And I felt like he's going to be okay. And I felt like she said, I felt that I got this moment with him when he wasn't sick, when he was well and he was happy. And that was a memory I got to leave with him. So it was really amazing.
Wow. Yeah. And I can identify with and resonate with a lot that you're talking about there. I mean, I have a pet of my own. I'm sure many of the listeners do as well. And I know when we're going through that really, that process and trying to accept what's coming, or afterwards, but to have that moment and the sound and meditation just to drop in and really feel, there's so much power and just to be able to have that connection and just brings peace, because our minds are so busy and there's so much going on. So just to be able to drop into that heart space and, it's such a profound, I was getting chills when you're telling me as well. That's beautiful. And can you just perhaps share, with all of this incredible work that you do, sharing so much, how do you fill your own cup and what do you do to bring, yourself back into balance? And do you get out into nature, or, what are some of the tools or techniques or little rituals that, keep you really grounded and anchored in your truth and your knowing and, and nurture your soul?
Yeah. Oh, I feel like it's an ongoing process. The filling the cup. I think one of the things that I always share and that was shared with me is creating a cup that's overflowing for myself. And one of those is I've had a morning practice for forever that I can remember. And it's changed and it's ebbed and it's flowed. It's become different things, but it's really just having some sacred time with myself in the morning. And that is something I've kept with for over 20 years. And my practice right now is I get up in the morning and I have a connection with my mind and my body. And I notice where there's tension in my body. And I do a practice of embodied unwinding. So really unwinding all of the things that kind of get locked up in our body, either through overnight or just ongoing stress. And do some work with vagal toning and working with my vagus nerve and breath work, and do a little bit of energy work, specifically dropping into my heart. Because I find that I live a lot of my life in my head, like many of us. So if I can start my day just dropping into my heart and breathing into my heart space. And then I do a practice. I have a guided meditation. So I have an app that I've been using for the past year that I love. And then I do some chanting. And that is through my yoga lineage. I've been chanting the Ganesha mantra for almost a year. And it's been a really powerful practice. And then I do a little bit of movement. So sometimes it looks like doing a full yoga practice. Sometimes it's doing a few sun salutations. And that is like my baseline. That like just helps me stay grounded. The other ways is I love nature. I love nature. I'm like, I have to get out in nature and be with trees. And when I am walking out in nature, I feel like my spirit is so lit up and I just feel so connected in those moments. And it's also a way for us to regulate our nervous system. Like it's proven that being in nature really helps us feel grounded. So, and the other
Where's
thing,
your favorite place in nature? Where's your favorite place? Like,
goodness,
do you like ocean? Do you like, forest, or
yeah.
just sitting on a tree? Just anywhere in particular?
Hmm. Well, I like both the forest and also like trees and
Yeah.
also the ocean. The ocean is very powerful for me. I was just in Greece. We talked about this summer, and
Yeah.
I swam in the Mediterranean Sea every
Wow.
single day, every morning. That was my morning practice. I would
Mm.
swim every morning, and it really just filled me up in such an incredible way.
Yeah, so revitalizing,
It
isn't
is.
it?
It
Water
is.
and
Yeah.
cleansing. Yeah.
Water is so healing, so
Mm.
healing. So,
And I feel you get different messages when you're in nature. Like we can tune in when we're in the house, but when we're outside and we're walking, it's like we can just really connect on a whole other level. So
yeah.
that's being in water, you're connecting with the water element and your emotion.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you're also going to say something else that you love to do, that I interrupted
I'm
you.
trying to remember what it was. Oh,
Sorry.
I like
You were
to
in your
dance.
flow.
Yeah. I like to dance in my living room.
Oh, so do I.
Dance parties in the living room are so necessary. I just had one earlier today because I was in a little bit of a funk this morning, and I was just like, okay, I put on a song. I was like, just dance and movement,
Yeah.
it just moving your body. And especially with music, there's something about music that just lights me up. So
Mhm.
I love that you dance in your
Yeah.
living room too.
Yeah, and it's so funny you mentioned that, because out of the blue called my daughter, who doesn't live at home with me, and she's at uni, and I called and she's like, "Yeah, hello." And I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "I'm just not having a good day." So after we had a chat, I said, "Right, you know what I do when I'm feeling like this? I, just put a really good song on and dance in my living room." So I said, "I want you, while we're talking on the phone, I want you to find a song." And I'm like, "You found it?" She's like, "Yes, I've got a song." And I'm like, "Right, have you got a speaker?" And she's like, "Yes." So I
Love-
said, "When we get off the phone, I want you to dance." So I did try to hold her accountable. I haven't called her to check, but she did say she was going to dance. So it is, and I could just feel, even just us talking about that yesterday on the phone, I could feel her smile, just from even thinking about that energy. So yeah, so that's a fun one.
Yeah.
And it's only something I've recently started to reconnect with. My body was just craving movement, and so from that, yeah, it seemed to unlock things. And I've got a beautiful view over the water here, so it's like, just put the music on, look out the window, and even shaking is a really good one
Yeah.
too. And yeah, so I mean, we could just go on and on about dancing.
We'll have to have Seven Sisters dance parties.
And so the next question, moving on, what are your future goals and aspirations in the field of healing?
Mm.
Healing, or just, in general? Because I feel, even though, we can say in healing, but, this journey, just on your own journey, because we're inspiring people just by living our own truth, really, isn't it? So what's sort of calling to you at the moment? What are you feeling called to step into?
Wow. That's a big question. And it's, something kind of just lit up a little bit more when you ask me that. And it's so true. When we share our dreams, it really inspires others and also just
Mhm.
helps. I think it keeps our dream alive when
Yeah.
we're talking about it. The one, where I aspire is I love bringing groups of women together. I
Mhm.
do that either, like in women's circles or workshops or retreats. And there's something just so powerful bringing a group of women together. And it's, you know, just that power of being seen and heard and uplifted. In that space, it's like all of the junk that we've been carrying kind of just gets softened, and we start to truly remember who we really are, and that we're here together to support each other. And for me, I really dream of having my own wellness and healing space somewhere in the world. I love being in other parts of the world. Particularly, I love Greece. That is my dream, is to have something in Greece, because it's a really magical place.
I'll be there.
Yeah. It is a magical place. The land there is, so the story about Greece, I visited there in 2019, and I was walking in Athens. And Athens is just, you know, there's so much history there, and the land is just so potent. And I was walking through some of the ancient ruins, and we're in this spot, and I just was like immediately transported to, like, I could see it when it was actually thriving. And for me, it's the place that I feel my most vibrant self. And so there's so much healing in the land. There's so much healing in the water. And so that's what I would really love. That's what I'm dreaming of doing, is having a wellness healing space there.
Calling that in.
Yeah, calling it in.
So, and you know, even this connection between us, I haven't been there in the physical in this lifetime, but I definitely feel a strong connection. It's coming online big time right now. So in the last few months, that connection. So it'll be interesting, to see what unfolds for both of us around. And I have also, I haven't been there, but I've been there in some journeys, and I have seen a vision of myself really just this prosperous, abundant woman living there. So, you know, in all ways. And so I don't know if that's in the future or, you know, or well, if that's what I'm seeing for myself. We'll see what unfolds. But thank you for sharing.
It's an abundant place. So it's where where a lot of abundance is. So
Oh, that's exciting. And so we have a couple of questions just to wrap up, just around the Seven Sisters. And how do you envisage, you know, what we're creating here? What do you see for this project, for yourself and for the group and for our listeners? You know, what is your vision or your intention, maybe stepping into this space?
Yeah. Well, I was really excited about this project, and to me, it is bringing together women who are in the healing arts and sharing their gifts to support each other and share it in a bigger way, to be of service in this world. And that's really what I see this project, and what my intention is, to be in this community of sisterhood and see what magic we can create with all of our individual magic. We create this collective, you know, what I feel like this collective orb of magic that just spreads out to everyone else.
And it definitely, you know, for me, has a life force of its own. So, you know, we heard the call and we said yes. And I think that, for me as well, it's the main thing. We've just shown up, and we could feel this beautiful, loving intention and the love within the group, even though some of us have never met, you know, in the physical in this lifetime. But it was just like this, yes, I'm here and it is time, you know, and it's really exciting. So, I can't wait to see how it unfolds.
I know, me neither. And sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Brad. I was just thinking, you know, it's kind of magical. So this actually came about through, you know, I just went on this 5-month travel journey.
Yeah.
And on that travel journey, I met such incredible women along the way. And one of those is Maida, who has come to put this together. And to me, it's such a representation of the calling for a new way of being in the world, and that we get to create a new paradigm
Yeah.
for life, that it
Mhm.
is based in the divine feminine, that is based in our healing presence and practices, because there's so much that has gotten in the way of women to really show up. And this is our time to really show up and to share and to be of service.
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely feel that as well. It's and the love and the nurturing, and so not only the healing, but I feel as women, we just hold such a safe container, and we're all here in our own, we all have our different ways of showing up as well, and our own so each person may have different ideas or visions or modalities and beliefs perhaps, but it's just knowing that within this container all is welcome.
Yeah.
And that we support one another and we're here for one another. And that's my intention is to really as well just to be that, just to hold space for each other as much as everyone else, because this is our journey as well.
Yeah, it is. It really
So
is.
we're all on this journey together. We're all on this roller coaster, right?
Oh my goodness, yes we are.
It's going to be an adventure and a fun one. And so I guess that was the last question as well. What was your intention behind joining the group? So I think we've pretty much answered that, but is there anything else you would like to bring into this conversation today before we close? Anything else that feels important? Or actually, one thing that dropped in before when you were talking about a mantra, and you said, is it Ganesh mantra?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Is it long? Is it really short?
It is. No, it's pretty short. Yeah, it's pretty short.
Yeah, because I just feel it would be really beautiful if you felt to share it.
Oh yeah, sure. I can share it. There's lots of them that I love. I'll share a little. So the Ganesha
I'm
mantra.
putting you on the spot.
I know, but it's
It
good.
just dropped in, and mantras have been a big thing for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they've just started to come. Like I've had Green Tara and Kuan Yin. I work strongly as well with Kuan Yin. We both do, and so their mantras have been with me for quite some time. And just when you mentioned that, I'm like, oh, that feels like it'll be really juicy, even just to this sacred container and our session with today. If you feel to share it, I'm putting you on the spot.
No, I love it. It's perfect. It's perfect. So, and I love, so mantra is, I like breaking down the word so people that understand what mantra means. Mantra is the word broken down as mind tool. It's a tool to work with our mind.
Yeah.
And to clear our mind of all of the distractions, all of the noise, to really truly connect to our heart space, to connect to the divine. And so that's what mantra is for folks who are watching. What does that mean exactly? I mean, I like to share that. So the Ganesha mantra, Ganesha is the remover of obstacles. And a lot of people think that, oh yeah, Ganesha, move all the obstacles out of the way. And sometimes there are things that look like an obstacle, but we need to go through them to get to the other side of them. And so we may think like, oh, this deity is to remove all the obstacles. But actually, it's just for us to come into our higher self to be able to overcome them in whatever way. So the Ganesha mantra that I chant is, I'll say it, and then if you want to repeat it, it's I'll have you. It's Om Gung Ganapataye Namaha. That's amazing. Om Gung Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gung Ganapataye Namaha. Yeah, so I chant that every morning, and every morning I connect with my heart, and I just really connect to that mantra to remove mostly the obstacles in my mind. They're not physical obstacles. They're usually the obstacles in my mind, the fear, the self-doubt, the worry, all of the things that are heavy and weighing down and don't allow me to truly show up in life.
Wow. So maybe just to close, when we close, we'll just say it 3 times so we can all just drop into that. But
Sure.
thank you so much for everything today. So let's just, as we drop into our hearts, we all just close down our eyes and take a deep breath in. And over to you, Keegan.
Om Gang Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Gang Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Gang Ganapatiye Namaha.
And just take a nice deep breath. Just really breathing in those energies. And I'm going to share my favorite mantra. So it's go with Kuan Yin. So I'll say the Kuan Yin mantra 3 times. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. And just sending light and love to everyone listening, out to all of our sisters, the 7 sisters of this beautiful sacred project that we are creating. And just sending our love and blessings to our planet, all the animals, nature spirits, and to each other and to ourselves, first and foremost, you know, just bringing that compassion, love, and understanding as we flow into the rest of our day, or perhaps it's your night and you're about to go to sleep, wherever you may be in the world. Just thanking you for being here with us for this beautiful interview.
Thank you, Jody. Thank you. That was amazing.